Get excited because I have something really cool for you. In today's video, we are going to talk about the BenQ RD280UA. We're going to talk about this particular monitor today because it is specifically built for developers, for us. So BenQ were kind enough to send me this monitor for me to test it out and do a review video on it. So thank you, BenQ. Although I didn't get paid and I can say whatever I want. So this review is going to be a really honest review because I got to use this monitor for 2+ weeks and I've already formed my opinions on it. First, let's talk about the boring features. Let's talk about the features that all of the monitors have. So it is a 28-inch display, 4K. Its resolution is 3840 by 2560, but what's weird or unusual about it is the aspect ratio. So you might notice it, but the aspect ratio is not the standard 16:9. It is 3:2. So what that means is you get more vertical space than the regular 16:9 monitors. The unique aspect ratio is not really something that takes a lot of time to get used to. I actually got used to it really fast, and I even prefer it now. I like this monitor a lot better than my other one, which I'm currently looking at right now. And yeah, this is my favorite monitor right now. That's why I want to talk about it. But yeah, the aspect ratio is not something that you need to be concerned with because you'll get used to it in no time. In terms of connectivity, it has the standard. It has the HDMI, it has a display port, it does have USB-C, it has this thing called KVM, which allows you to connect two computers, two machines to it, and simultaneously switch between these two. And it also has this thing called MST, which allows you to daisy chain multiple monitors with just one cable. So your computer goes into this one, you might have a second BenQ monitor. The MST feature allows you to connect this monitor with that monitor, but use it as like 3 or 2 different monitors. So I don't have that enabled. I don't have another BenQ monitor, so I'm not going to talk about this feature. I saw that there's plenty of resources online. If you're looking to learn more about the MST feature, yeah, go check out all the other videos on YouTube. All right, now let's get into the interesting and unique features of this monitor. Let's talk about why I actually love this monitor. First, it is the ErgoArm. So this is the UA model, which means it comes with an ergonomic arm instead of the regular display monitor stand. And according to me, having an ergonomic arm is a must-have. So up until now, every monitor that I've bought, I have immediately thrown away their stands. I'm gonna be honest, they're usually crap. I don't like them. I put all of the monitors immediately on ergonomic arms, the ones that, you know, clamp to your desk, and it allows you to move the monitor not just up and down, but not left and right as well, or further back or closer to you. That is super important because with just the regular stance, you're not going to achieve perfect ergonomics based on your body, right? We have different heights as human beings, and the standard display monitors, they don't really take into account the different heights, different torso heights, and how tall people are and how high their chair is set. Basically, with ergonomic arms, you're not going to have any issues achieving the correct ergonomics, which is really important. We're talking about your health, so pay attention to that. Use ergonomic arms and you'll be good. Say goodbye to neck pain and also headaches. The ErgoArm itself is a pretty cool ErgoArm. It can swivel up and down. You can even go 90 degrees if you want to, if you're into that kind of things. But yeah, basically a really flexible arm, which comes in the box, so you don't really need to spend more money getting new ergonomic arms. So the fact that this monitor comes with the ergonomic arm in the box is a huge bonus. Now let's talk about the eye care features. These are 4 features that BenQ have built in that take care of your eye health. Again, super important. First, let's talk about the night hours protection feature. So this mode allows you to lower the display brightness to less than 1 nit. It can be activated when the sensor that is in the function bar below the monitor, and I'm going to talk about the function bar a bit later, but this can be activated when the sensor detects low light conditions. For example, your room is super dark. That offers some additional comfort for those late night coding sessions. Next is the BI Gen 2, which is Brightness Intelligence Gen 2. Pretty similar to the night hours protection. It changes the brightness and contrast depending on how bright your room is, depending on your ambient light. So there is a little photo sensor in the function bar, and this is called the function bar. We'll talk about it a bit later. But yeah, there is a photo sensor in the function bar below, which measures how bright your room is. So if your room is dark, the monitor will dim itself, and also the contrast will decrease because it's dark, right? You can't have a super bright monitor in a dark room. Your eyes will suffer. So it takes care of you. Or for example, if it's bright in your room, like it's currently in my room, it is going to increase the brightness and format so you can see the contents on the monitor better. And that's all accessible here. I'm not sure how well you can see this, but all of the options are accessible here. There we go. I have mine set to on. I have it asks me if I want to use the light meter, which is this little photo sensor built in, and there you can also adjust the sensor sensitivity. So I have it set to 5, but you can set it to be more sensitive versus less sensitive, depending on how you like it. I've been using this thing for 2+ weeks and I've gotten so used to it. I think that is the best user experience I've seen in just a computer monitor. I really love how it adjusts itself based on the surroundings. So in the past 2 weeks, my eyes have never been strained. I have never seen the monitor like too bright so I squint, or too dark so I can't even read the code on it. I've only had good experience with it. Alright, the next feature that I want to talk about is called Low Blue Light Plus. And what that does is basically it takes away some of the blue light from the monitor. If you've been using Mac, you might know the Flux or Flux application, and there's also a built-into Mac nowadays as well. Well, this is basically that. It makes all of your screen just brighter. So I'm not sure if you can notice the change, especially in this light, the white part here, but it gets more yellow. This is basically better for, especially for nighttime, because it's gonna be so much easier on your eyes. Blue light actually keeps you awake and keeps you energized. So if it's like 10 p.m. and you're finishing up with your day and you don't want to remain energized for hours after 10 p.m., be sure to check this feature out if you want to have a good night's sleep, which is again super important. We're talking about the health here. You don't play games with that. All right. And yeah, not much to say about the low blue light. It basically removes the blue light. That's it. And the next feature that I want to talk about, which is honestly a really, really cool feature, is the moon halo. All right, check this out. This circular light behind the monitor is the moon halo. It is a built-in LED light that illuminates the background behind your monitor, which makes it so much easier to be used in dark rooms. Again, BenQ are thinking about developers. Dark rooms plus dark IDEs plus bright monitors equals strained eyes. So they are thinking about that. Let me show you what it can do. Just like any feature, you can turn it off if you don't want to use it, or turn it back on, or set it to auto dimming so it uses its own brain. But aside from that, you can adjust the brightness. This is at level 6, which is like 50% brightness. And this is level 1, which is like barely any light, but it's still gonna be enough depending on how dark your room is. And this is also level 10, which is the brightest. And this one is useful if, for example, in yours, if your setup does not touch the wall, right? You have more space behind your desk and you want to illuminate that space, you're gonna need a lot of light. So you can set that to level 10 if you wanted to. Aside from the brightness, you can also update the temperature. So right now it is the warmest setting, but you can actually go and make it colder if you wanted to. I really hope you can see this on the camera, but yeah, it goes from like super warm yellow light to cool plain white light. And yeah, I keep it at super warm. And you can even like turn off the bottom part, so it's like 270 degrees instead of 360. Right now it's 360 and this is 270, right? You see like the bottom part of it is turned off if you don't want light hitting, for example, your keyboard or your desk. And now it's 360. I keep it at 360, super warm, the warmest setting, and I also keep it as auto dimming, so it basically adjusts itself. All right, so that is the Moon Halo. Again, I think this is like one of the coolest features on this monitor, and I know people add LED strips behind their monitors. I'm not sure about other monitors that have this feature built in, but this one does, and that's why it's the coolest. All right, back to the display. The next feature I want to talk about is actually super cool. This one is called color modes, and believe it or not, the monitor itself optimizes for dark IDEs or light IDEs, like dark mode versus light mode, depending on what kind of developer you are, depending on what kind of IDE you're using. And it's really cool, and it's super easy to toggle. Like I mentioned the function bar at the bottom, there's a little code logo on it. If you just press it, it's a capacitive touch type of button, you get this little menu. It says coding, currently it's set to MBook, and this is basically color profiles for the monitors. The MBook is MacBook. It tries to mimic the actual colors that your MacBook has. I have it set to this, and like this is my default browsing mode, but whenever I am coding, I can tap again and now it gets into dark theme. So I'm not sure if you can read the numbers, but right now we're in dark theme. Let me go back to MBook. The brightness is set to 100, the contrast is set to 38. When you go to dark theme, the brightness is 100, the contrast is 50. So it punches up the contrast, so the text in the dark IDEs, right, your code actually pops a lot more than with lower contrast. And there's also light mode or light theme, and that one sets the brightness to 26 and the contrast remains at 50. So for example, if you're using a light IDE, you do not want 100 brightness because yeah, it's gonna blow you off the chair, that light. And these are the 3 modes that I have set to my function bar, but there are others. So let me show you. If you go to color modes, you're going to see we have the dark theme, we have the light theme. Here's the MacBook, there's a cinema for like watching movies and stuff, and there's also e-paper. I mean, how cool is that? There's no color, the brightness is, I don't know how much, we can check it, and it also changes or adjusts the contrast. So this is really good for reading books. I skipped over it, but there's also an HDR mode. So this is an HDR monitor. If you're working with HDR type of content, this monitor will render that HDR for you. There's an sRGB and also a user mode, which you can like customize it for your needs. As I mentioned, I usually keep it at MBook for general browsing, but I have an automation built in to automatically change to dark theme and e-paper, depending on what application I'm using at that moment. And I'm going to show that to you right now. All right, BenQ have an application called Display Pilot. And what this does is, of course, it allows you to change all of the features that we mentioned from the beginning of this video. But on top of that, it also allows you to create some automations. And I'm not going to talk about all of these features. We've already talked about them. Let me show you the automations. If you go to settings and go to advanced, you're going to see two sections. You're going to see the flow section at the top and the application color mode. So the flow section basically allows you to define specific scenarios that get triggered depending on a schedule. For example, focus max. You can add a schedule from what time until what time, and if you want to repeat it, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, etc. And when that scenario gets activated, you can set a bunch of actions like, let's see, open an application. Like you can set it to open your IDE, open Kitty, or change the color mode, or both. Like open Kitty, change the color mode to dark mode, turn on BI Gen 2, turn on low blue light, mute audio, turn on eco privacy to turn off itself after some inactivity, definitely turn on night hours protection, and adjust the moon halo. I don't know. Yeah, basically you can define your custom scenarios for work or for gaming or for watching movies, depending on the schedule, and you can even trigger these with a hotkey. I don't really use this. As you can see, there are no schedules and no actions for any of the flows, but I use the application color modes. So what this allows me to do is, for example, define an application, and when I'm focused on that application, I want to change the color mode, for example, to e-paper, right? I have books. When I open books, which I have in the background here, when I'm focused on books, it's going to turn to e-paper. When I'm focused on Brave, Discord, or Slack, it's going to turn to mBook, right? General browsing, nothing specific. But when I'm focused on Cursor or Kitty, which I have in the background here, it's going to go into dark theme. So let me show you that. Okay, so I hope you can see this, but right now I am focused in Kitty. Now I'm going to click into the books application. There we go. So it immediately like blinked and it got all the color out, right? We are in e-paper now. So back to dark mode, and now back to e-paper, back to dark mode, back to e-paper. See how easy it is to switch the color modes? I just click and that's it. I can even click on my other monitor where I have the Brave browser. So click here, this one changes to Brave. Yeah, there are some optimizations when it comes to the display pilot too, but luckily they're software updates. One thing that I don't like about this feature is that I have to click in order to change the color mode. And BenQ, if you're watching this, please fix this, because yeah, I don't really use the mouse. I rarely use the mouse. When I'm coding, I'm usually switching with Command and Tab, like here. So I'm not going to, I'm going to switch to books, and I can read my books with my keyboard. So I'm not going to even touch the mouse in order to, switch over to applications. Here I have the books. Here's my Kitty IDE, right? When I do that, I have to click in order for the monitor to change the color mode. So if you could please push an update where I don't have to click on it, but I can just Command Tab back into Kitty and have that color mode, the dark mode, reverted back. That is a really big deal. I mean, a lot of developers are not using their mouses. They're usually using keyboards. And if you haven't guessed it, I use NeoVim, by the way. And that pretty much covers everything. Thanks again to BenQ for sending this monitor to me in the time when I was actually shopping for a second screen. Like I guess I'm just lucky. So thanks again. Really cool monitor. I've spent 2 weeks with this one, and after the 4th day, it became my favorite monitor. So yeah, thank you for sending it to me. For all of you watching, this monitor will not let you down. I'm pretty rigorous when it comes to ergonomics, when it comes to developer health, your posture, your eye health, etc. And this monitor doesn't really cause any issues. That's why I like it. That's why it's my favorite now. I'm gonna drop links in the description if you want to see more information on this monitor or check out BenQ's website. So Make sure to check out the description, or if not, I'm just gonna pin a comment in the comments below. It is Black Friday at this moment, so if I were you, I would definitely hurry up, because BenQ, I bet they're going to give you some sweet discounts. So make sure to check it out. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, of course, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Take care.